Why is it so that many American men dream of dating women 15 or even 20 years younger, while European men usually prefer just 3 to 5 years younger? Is it biology, culture, fantasy, or even maybe scam industry make believe Western men with some illusions, right? Today, I want to pull back the curtain on the truth about age gaps and why the difference between American men, European men, and Ukrainian women is the number one factor that will decide your success in international dating. Hello everyone, my name is Anna and I'm an international matchmaker. Working with men from all over the world, Americans, European, Canadians, Australians, I get to see firsthand what they're looking for in a relationship with Slavic women. And one of the things that I could ignore was this: Americans and Europeans think about age gaps completely differently. So I want to ask you right now, what do you think? What's an acceptable age gap for you? Please write me in comments. I'd love to hear your answer in this question. And before we dive deeper, I want to invite you to our Telegram community. You can find link in description below. So let's look at the statistics, right? Because that's where reality is. In the United States, according to the census, the average age gap in married couples is only 2 to 3 years. The man is typically older, but as you can see, by not much, right? But when you ask American men about their preferences, the story changes. Surveys show that many men see 10 years younger, is very acceptable, and a large percent dream of women 15 to 20 years younger. Now, Europe is very different. A massive study across 28 European countries with almost 36,000 couples show that the typical European man prefers a woman within 3 to 5 years younger. The gap grows slowly as he ages, but it's rarely come close to even like 10 years. And what about Ukraine? Ukrainian couples are just like Europeans. The average age gap is 3 to 5 years, and that's what people, grow up seeing, experiencing in their families. That's what they expect, and that's what feels normal to them, right? So let's ask a serious question then. If Ukrainian couples themselves usually have a small gap, why would Ukrainian women suddenly want to marry Western men 15 years, 20 years older? The answer usually they don't want. And this is where we have to talk about the scam industry. There is a huge business worth millions that exists only to sell fantasies to Western men. Agencies, letter writing sites, and endless profile of young women, all promising that age, it doesn't matter, age is just a number. That 25 years old Ukrainian women are waiting to marry men in their 50s or 60s. But the truth is, this is not reality. It's what Western man wants to hear. And yes, some women become more open as they get older, maybe in their mid-30s or 40s. They focus more on man's value and stability in his age. But even then, it's not unlimited, And for younger women, a 20 years gap is very rare, especially for women who travel or who have friends who married with Europeans. They see how Europeans think about age gaps, and a 20 years difference doesn't appeal to them because it's not part of their reality either. So why do American and European men think so different about age gaps? In America, culture celebrates youth. Hollywood celebrity culture, Silicon Valley, and you constantly see older men with much younger women, and this normalizes the fantasy, right? Then individualism. Men feel more free to chase wherever they want without worrying about what people think. Divorce culture. Many men re-enter the dating pool at 40, 50, 60 and they want to start over with someone much younger. In Europe, compatibility matters more. Men look for shared memories, shared stages of life, society's judgment is stronger, and 20 years gap would be, heavily questioned at a dinner party in Paris or Berlin. European men don't want to feel out of sync with their partner's world. So culture shapes perception. Americans dream bigger gaps, a European more modest. And if you talk about me personally, I have to be honest too. In my previous marriage with Ukrainian man, I had only 3 years gap, and I was actually older. But now with Joe, I have 20 years gap, and he's older than me. And I know when people hear me say that, they look at me in a strange way, like I'm walking proof that it's possible, or I'm saying not true, that women not open. Let me be very clear here. Our relationship is not statistically average case. I didn't meet Joe through agency, was looking at his profile and seeing his age. I met him on the street and in a very natural way. And by the time I found his age, I already had strong feelings to him. And I've shared in another video how hard that realization was for me. And it hits me so strongly that I disappeared for 2 months just to perceive the information and decide what I wanted to do. So yes, we made it work, but there were some very specific reasons why it works for us. Chemistry, shared mission, deep emotional bond, and also one very important factor that Joe always wanted to be a father. And at that time, I already had 2 small kids, and parenting became a huge bond for us, on the top of other things that connected us. That's why I don't present our marriage as a model or something average, It's impossible, but it depends on many unique factors. And honestly, if man with a larger age gap chooses a woman who is already a single mom with small kids, his chance is much higher than if he chooses a younger woman with no kids, because single mom values family, stability and fatherhood, and those are her priorities. But if woman doesn't have children and she wants to have them, most of the time she will look for a man closer to her age, because biologically and statistically that makes much more sense to her. So yes, exceptions exist. My marriage is one of them, but please don't take my story as an average pass and I'm taking it as a part of a real statistic. Okay. Now, let's ground this conversation and bring it back to Ukraine again. The reality is simple, that between Ukrainian couples, it's 3 to 5 years on average, and that's what women used to, right? So when you, as a Western man, come and ask for 15 or 20 years, many women will politely listen, but inside they will be just like me at this moment, was have so much fears about that they will say no even to try. Of course, some women are more flexible, especially women who've been exposed to international culture, but even then it's not 20 years. It might be 10 up to 15 years. Rarely it goes higher. So when you see agencies promising you that it's normal for Ukrainian women to accept any age gap, it's just very culturally accepted, you should know that's a fantasy being sold to you. And let me give you here 2 short stories. Let's say there is a John, an American businessman in his early 50s. He come to me and say, Anna, I only want women who are 30 or younger. For John, it's about vitality, about youth, about feeling alive again, right? But Marcus, a 52 years old German engineer, tells me, Anna, I'd like someone maybe 45, maybe 47. For him, it's about shared history. He wants someone who remembers the same songs, the same words. Neither of them is wrong. Both are sincere, but their mindset leads them down very different roads. And this factor, the age gap you're pursuing, will make your journey either very easy, or very difficult. And it's not small detail. It's a key factor to your success. Of course, I can't give you one size fit, all number, because even every man is different. Some men look 10 years younger, I believe my husband too, and some looks older. So for a man who looks younger, maybe he can a little bit stretch his age gap, but for a man who looks already older and he's chasing 20 years gap, it's almost make it unrealistic. That's why it's very hard to say here's the magic number that works for everyone. You need to look at each man individually. But what I can say in general, it is that if men looking for a partner within 5 to 10 years younger, his chances of success skyrocket. He has many more options, many more women who genuinely be open to him to build a relationship. But if men insist on 20 years gap and he's very, very limited in his possibilities with real women, he will face a very high rejection rate from sincere ladies who actually want to build family. And here's the big trap. On the scam websites, it doesn't matter what gap you ask for. Every woman profile will be happy to talk to you, but those are not real women. Those are employees paid to type messages to keep you spending your own money. You need to separate fantasy with reality. American men tend to want bigger gaps. European want smaller, and Ukraine in reality is closer to Europe. And at the end of the day, you must choose. Will you keep chasing the fantasy, or you will ground yourself in reality and find a partner who truly fits your life? Please write me in comments again about your age gap and maybe country where you live, so we can compare and see the way men worldwide, English-speaking men think, right? And don't forget to join our Telegram community. And if you want to know more about our matchmaking process, feel free to register for our matchmaking consultation going to matchguaranty.com/register, and we will be happy to talk to you. Thank you for watching this video. Please share it with the man who live in the fantasy, just to help him to understand what's real, what's not. Because when it comes to international dating, you have to know what you're doing. Okay? Like and subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you soon in my upcoming episodes. Bye bye for now.